Is Shiboyugi playing death games to put food on the table worth starting? Now guys, when I say is this anime worth starting, I'm not saying is this gonna be like the new craziest anime of the season. I'm not saying that, yo guys, this is definitely gonna be a hit, everybody needs to watch it, it's peak, you know what I'm saying? Like, no, okay, no. I'm just simply saying that after watching 3 episodes of this anime, because I try to give every anime at least 3 episodes, you know, to kind of prove itself, you feel me? But after watching those 3 episodes, has it kept my attention enough to keep going, or this anime is gonna be one of those that I just completely drop? In which, before I answer the question, let's go ahead and look at the reviews. Now, granted, right, it's only been 3 episodes, right? So I'm not gonna necessarily say that these reviews will hold true, but at least we'll get a sense of what, you know, everybody's thinking about this anime at the moment. So on Crunchyroll, it has a 4.5 out of 5 stars, and on my anime list, it has a 7.87, which in my opinion really isn't that bad. However, is this an anime that you truly need to be starting? And after watching 3 episodes, I can confidently say that this anime is worth starting. However, this anime is one of those kind of particular animes to where I can definitely not recommend this for everybody. However, for myself, it has caught my attention enough for me to keep going. First, I want to talk about the plot of this anime because honestly, I never heard anything about it. I went into this anime blind. I did not see any trailers, no clips. Wait, actually, I think there was a clip. Okay, I think I saw 1 clip of this anime before I started. But for the most part, crickets. So I want to make sure we're all on the same page and see if this is even a plot that interests you. So let's get to the plot. Right off the bat, I'm not gonna hold you. This anime kind of tested my patience in the beginning. The first episode is a 45-minute episode, and that kind of caught my attention. Because, you know, usually when it's like a 45 minutes to an hour special, that tends to mean that the anime is gonna be good. However, with this, for the first about 5 minutes, it was kind of just more visuals and kind of just, you know, kind of playing with the animation, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was something that would bore a JJK fan to death, okay? However, as a seasoned anime watcher, I could tell by the animation that this, like, people put time into this anime, okay? This was something that people put time in. So I figured there's gonna be at least some sort of reward at the end of this anime. Now, something real quick though, guys, I am gonna be talking about the first episode of this anime, which will kind of spoil the first episode a little bit. However, after watching the next 2 episodes, what happened in this is kind of just us getting an idea of what this anime is going to be about. And so it's minor spoilers for the first episode, but I won't talk about too much after that. But we see these group of girls that are dressed up as maids. And it turns out that everybody there is there for a particular reason. And that is to make some money. So after a few minutes of them introducing themselves and kind of talking about everything, you find out that they are in kind of what the title says, a death game. And so this anime definitely gives off like some Squid Game, Saw, maybe like a hint of Dead Man Wonderland. Okay, not with the action, but the fact that it's broadcasted, but that kind of like category. But in this game, you pretty much have to escape the abandoned building that you're in. And throughout the building, there are clues and also like supplies to kind of help you be able to, you know, to get to the next level. These games are passable and there's still a good chance that you can survive this. And we know this because this is our main character, Yuki's 28th time playing this. So we can kind of gather that this is like a game that probably happens every once a month or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Because as everybody else was introducing themselves, for some people, it's their 7th time. For some people, it's their 1st time. So this is definitely something that you can survive and kind of keep going on again. Now, you might be asking, okay, why would they go through this? This is technically a death game. Like, you can actually die in the game. So what's the point? But as I mentioned earlier, it is to get money. Now, some people have a lot of debt they need to get paid off. Some people want to live a lavish life. Some people want to take care of somebody else. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's always reasons for people to want money and to, you know, put themselves in a life or death situation. So our main character kind of gets the gist of everybody in the room and says, all right, let's figure out how we're going to escape this floor. And so as they're going around, they're looking for clues, they're looking for some, you know, some kind of hint to get out. And at the end of the hallway, there's a door. And so they pretty much need to find some keys. And after a while looking, they cannot find it. And that is until one of the contestants realized that it was pretty much in plain sight. And it was hiding under the bowl under some sweets. And so as she was happy that she found the keys, our main character is like, yo, wait. This is bad because usually how these games work, again, she's a veteran, when there's a clue, there's a trap. And so the trap was activated and sadly, you know, took out one of the contestants. Honestly, that's where I was like, oh, just like that, you know what I'm saying? He was literally punished for finding a clue. And honestly, like, there was really nothing she could have done about it. Now, I'm not gonna lie, this is about like 20 minutes into the first episode, so it was something that you really kind of had to just sit there and wait patiently. You know what I'm saying? You just had to be patient. But she gets taken out, and our main character is like, yo, listen, okay, that was sad, that was tough, but we gotta keep moving. Because again, the chances of all of us making it are very high, but again, you can still die. And the blonde-haired girl, this is her first time, and bro, she is like traumatized, okay? She's like, damn, what'd I get myself into? And so they're moving on to the next floor, and this is where, like, you really kind of get that, oh damn kind of feeling. You know what I mean? Like this was when I realized it got real. This was honestly kind of like what really sealed the deal. And I think this is also where I find the clip of. So now as these girls are in the next room, it is raining in there. And so eventually that water is gonna fill up unless they're able to figure out how to get out. So as they're trying to figure out, what we need to do to be able to get out of here, the room is flooding up and everything, and it's just like a dire situation. However, again, Yuki is a pro at this, okay? This is her 28th game. This is her first time being in this kind of trap. But again, with her previous experience, she's able to kind of cook with this. So she realized that they need to cuff themselves with the chain and pull down the lever. So with that, the rain stops. However, an even worse trap is activated. And yo, this is bad. This one was bad. I was like, wait, they're actually trying to like kill these girls. So the chains are coming down and everything. The key that they found in the first floor, that key can help them unchain themselves. However, they're all divided. And so they have to figure out a way for everybody to get a chance to unlock their chain. But with the razors coming down quickly, they're running out of time. And plus they're all panicking. Okay, that's also the thing. They're all panicking. And as the time was running low, sadly, another one wasn't able to make it. And this was just painful. Okay, you can even see it in their reactions, guys. Like they knew this was something that like it's just tough. You know what I'm saying? It's just tough because people are already like bonded with a specific person, and little small friend group within that kind of group, and it's just they knew. You know what I'm saying? They knew, and honestly, our main character's like there really wasn't much that she could have done. So as, she's getting torn up, it was more like watching a stuffed animal get like torn to pieces. It's not your typical, blood and everything's like going all over the place. No. And that's something that our main character explains is because that this is being broadcasted on TV. And so if they showed a lot of blood and kind of stuff, you know what I mean? Like, it's gonna, not too many people are gonna want to watch that, right? But they make it seem like visual effects, the viewers don't know that these girls are actually dying. So there's some sort of treatment that they do before they enter the game to where like that pretty much happens to their body. Now, something that's also mentioned, which is important for the next part, is that as long as you survive and get to the end, you can be put back together, which means that you can legit lose an arm, lose a leg, you can be torn up to pieces and all that kind of stuff. As long as you make it to the end, you're good, fam, okay? You're good, okay? They'll sew you right back up, which is important for the next part because they need to get on this elevator that only goes down once. However, there is a weight limit. So everybody's kind of looking at each other like, okay, who's gonna sacrifice themselves, who's gonna stay up and who's gonna do this and that. It's kind of like psychological, like thriller in a sense, because you're watching them and like, obviously they don't want anybody to die, but I ain't dying. You know what I'm saying? Somebody's gonna have to go through, you know what I'm saying? So you kind of watch as they, try to figure this out. Everybody was panicking except for our main character. We realized that, hey guys, listen, there's a weight limit, and technically we don't have to kill anybody. We just gotta make ourselves lighter. You guys can kind of infer they had to pretty much cut off their body part. Like, bro. It was insane, okay? Like the whole idea of this is actually insane. In which normally I would say that, that was the craziest part of the episode, but there's one last thing that happens in the end, which I will not say, okay? Because that was like a big, low-key, like a jaw drop. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, damn. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was not ready for it, okay? I was not. Like, my jaw dropped. Like I said, bro, the things that are going on in their head, it's crazy. I'm gonna go ahead and stop it right there with the plot, in which, we pretty much get the gist, but I still want to kind of give you guys a little bit of a, heads up of what you guys are ready to watch. So pretty much it's these death games that these girls have to go into, where they're trying to get some money, pay off debt, help a family member out, just get rich or something like that, you know what I'm saying? Everybody has their own reasons. And they have to go pretty much through these trials in order to escape this building. Now, based on what I know from watching episodes 2 and 3, every game again will be different. And you're gonna see people who've been in there multiple times. You pretty much just have to kind of get that idea of like, oh, normally they would want to put a trap here, right? And so that's how, you kind of have to start moving. Plus, it's all being broadcast, so this is meant for entertainment. That's another fact you kind of have to add in. Now, real quickly, before I kind of get into the reasons of why I wouldn't really recommend this anime, I have to say, if you guys are still watching this video, if you guys are enjoying it, if you guys like anime, if you can do me a small little favor and go ahead and smash that subscribe button. You guys are on the long journey to 10K subscribers, and I know with the power, come on, with the power of friendship, anything is possible, right? Right? Plus, it's the free way to support the channel. But now, let's go ahead and get into the reasons of why I wouldn't necessarily recommend this anime. It's mainly because of the artistic style or like direction of this anime, along with the plot. Because as you're watching this anime, you quickly realize that not everything is shot in like, well, okay, not animated like most animes, alright? They focus in on small details of the characters, they do a lot of eye shots, they do a lot of, kind of panning around, or having, interesting zoom angles, different kind of cuts on the screen, you know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't flow like your normal anime. It has some more artistic kind of style to it, which I'm completely fine with. However, I do know it kind of bothers a good bit of people, and which I do get, because as you're watching it, it can throw you off when they're not, getting to the point, you know what I'm saying? Like, they kind of like show you this kind of different direction, but eventually get to it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of hard to explain. But I would say that that could be a reason why you wouldn't be drawn to it. It could also just be the plot of the anime itself, because at the end of the day, it's a bunch of girls that need to escape the tower. At the moment, I can't really see too many, like, crazy twists, too many crazy, like, character developments, or, like, world building or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not, like, a crazy kind of anime, It's definitely gonna be one of those animes with a good bit of shock factor. But again, it's not gonna be something that, you're not really gonna fully be able to not guess what's gonna happen. But if you are okay with these kind of animes, you're okay with kind of watching and seeing how they progress, trying to figure out how they're gonna make it out of here. And, kind of like a little bit of gore, which again, it's not really that much gore because of the whole stuffed animal kind of thing. But, you like kind of looking at that kind of stuff, then again, this is definitely gonna be an anime for you to watch. Which is something that I like to watch. Like, I do like to see how they're gonna get through all of this, because especially after episode 3, I can kind of tell that there's something on the last floor that, I just don't, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like there's gonna be some deceiving going on, which again, that happened, and I'm not gonna go into it, but some deceiving and some manipulation does happen in this show, which I do enjoy. So with that said, I'm gonna let you guys go, and hey, stay weebin'.